Дорогие друзья, всем добрый день.
Dear friends, good afternoon. We are glad to see all of you here at our popular scientific research seminar dedicated to the secret doctrine by Helena Blavatsky. Today is another magnificent day because we're opening our seminar of the new season, and of course, we're expecting from our speakers, from our research group, from our participants, new thoughts, new ideas, new discoveries, because any new idea, any new projection has a magnificent effect on all of the consciousness of people. Today, our world is developing so rapidly that any idea transforms and shapes an absolutely new reality. The new form, the new shape, lacking fundamentals that can transform its feeling, its attitude to the new ideas. To be able to see new things, it should be created such seminars dedicated to the secret doctrine. And we understand that this work is the basis of the understanding of the world, and they are the basis of the understanding of your inner self, of the personalities of people around us, of the world around us, of the instrument we choose to build this world. We choose the instruments that are available to us. And if it is constructed, this this body, then it means that we have an object with new energies that we can accept. This is not an easy task. However, and possibly this characteristic is associated with people who have various ideas. This is your accuracy. This is your lightness and plasticity, and your ability to accept new ideas, the ability to enter into the exchange process. The exchange process is extremely important because it can happen when the surveillance body is able to accept, to notice. The today's sloka says, behold. This word, behold, it directs us to the inner understanding and acceptance of the main system of the fundament that we can stay in. And if it is created, we can use it as a tool set that we need in our material world. In order to eat, we need a spoon or a fork. In order to walk, we need our legs. In order to write, we need a pen. But in order to think, to observe, to perceive, and to renew your consciousness, we need a surveillance body. So this perception process is based on our ability to accept. We have various shapes of our consciousness, various parts of it. It is interesting that the today's sloka is consistent with the energy of the today's world. It amplifies and transforms this idea. Of course, we will give the floor to Vladimir Yare. It is going to comment on the Nidana of today, those rays and this energy, and our listeners will be able to shape their perception process, their attention. And in order to do that, what do we need? We're always saying that we need to study the secret doctrine systematically. The system helps us shape the basis that a surveillance body uses to perceive the world. If we lack this basis, this fundament, we will not be able to do that. There are various parts of it that can form and shape our consciousness. And if this process is incorrect, then our perception will not be accurate. And this lack of accuracy may hinder our process of perception. And this accuracy may help us perceive. Then today, all together, we would like to make the opening of the new season, where we study stanza 3, I'd like to make this process more accurate so that we can perceive the world better, and we would like to create a surveillance body that helps us throughout the seminar, helps us throughout the process of creating a surveillance body. Our first speaker of today is a psychologist, head of the School of Theosophy in Moscow, Russia, Vladimir Yary.
Good afternoon, dear friends. And let's start from the thought of the day by Madame Blavatsky. Madame Blavatsky knew indeed, and by giving such thought for today, it's an initiative thought. The following one. The spirit it is that, under the mirrored illusions of life, works steadily towards its goal, silently, imperceptibly, irresistibly, moving on to divinity. That is the thought given to us today, and let's try to come into the evolution flow with our mind open. And that is why we have such a thought that a hen eats corn one by one without a hurry. And that is how we'll come to today, the day combined by the era, the eternity, the decades, the year, the month, the week and the day. That is how it's revealed with its plane, its flatness, perception of our mind. The way it should be today, our mind should be calm, knowing that the spirit knows where to go, because the spirit knows the goal. The era of monkey has the hierophant, the nidana of blue monkey. The monkey itself, as nidana, is the symbol of beauty, and the character is defined by the blue element, the air, or in Tibetan system, it's tree, it's wood. Hope is defined by lightness and movable character of the thought, mobility. Therefore, the person who, through the sense of beauty, gets this flow of creative thought will create the new era. That is how the new era comes, and actually, it's caused by humanity, as Armageddon is also caused by actions of humanity. What is the way to construct it? What are the energies or qualities of fire that we should use to construct? These are the two qualities. The first one is tolerance, and the second one, cooperation. And it's impossible to have patience or tolerance without this spirit, one without the second. Tolerance comes with the fullness of spirit that we get when our consciousness is able, through knowledge, expanding, getting more into it. That is how the person gets tolerance and cooperation. In this state is normal. It's kind of brotherhood. It's creation of common good. We live in the century of the white dragon, and probably it's new for somebody, but the century is in either the symbol for this is the word. Also, this element symbolizes condensate, and the condensate is nothing but in Buddhism is called bodhicitta. The dragon is wisdom. It means that there is interconnected link between the era with the Dzyan stanza 3, Sloka 6, because this dragon of wisdom is Oeaohoo the Younger one. In fact, it's what should be done before revelation of mind, of consciousness, what the era is saying. If we awaken our consciousness, then we'll get cognitive abilities that will let us accept bodhicitta condensate, according to Dzyan stanza description, that according to Madame Blavatsky is there in the secret doctrine, from the single to the particular one, and bodhicitta, the dragon of wisdom, penetrates everything this way. That is how it works. The year is the following, works the following way. The black color is the symbol of Akasha, or the waters of space. These waters are the waters of fire. And in these waters is the cause of the sound, the cause of speech, the cause that reveals or gives a revelation to Logos. That is how vibration is formed. Further, this vibration becomes this constructor, the sound, the Logos, the ether. This constructor, this ether, as a small particle of bodhicitta, is the black hair, the cognitive ability, initial wisdom, initial knowledge produces the sound without sound. So it's a sound without sound because it's caused by sense knowledge. And through this ability, the sense knowledge, which is the accumulated knowledge, will cause the hierarchy between the lower and the higher through love to the absolute wisdom, and then the cognitive ability allows us to accept this knowledge. The Akashic power, awakening Kundalini as the result, when bodhicitta is come through our cosmic Purusha, through the center, Kundalini, this snake awakens, and then there is the hierarchy between the lower and the higher, the kind of combination it is. That is the month of the white monkey. The white monkey also has its own character. The white is the color of ether, it's condensate, as we've said, and the quality is the readiness to reveal, symbol of beauty the monkey is. And it's ready for revelation through the sense of beauty. It's ready to reveal itself. The beauty of being, the beauty of existence will reveal. And for the whole month, we're trying to give birth to these beautiful thoughts, to formulate them collectively, so the human being can do it collectively, not individually yet, but we have the hierarchy that helps us as the teaching, and with the hierarchy,
но только по-братски соподчинить себя этому высшему началу и
way to do it, to subordinate ourselves to this higher being, and with the help of the sense of beauty, with the construction of the golden section, will create the collective beauty. We have the week of yellow dog. The yellow color corresponds to the element of earth, the character of dog nidana it shows, and the dog nidana is the solid character. The yellow color as earth is not the earth we walk on, it's the symbol of the earth element. It's the formulated, crystallized mind that is able, after this crystallization, to be solid on these laws of nature. And therefore, the dog awakens its intuition or sense knowledge, we call it. The person will be guided by sense knowledge, and then the law will be as above, so below, according to the Christian prayer. That is the call. The day of the white hare is symbol. The white hare is the symbol of character. We understand it's either the condensate is created, it's the condensate is what knowledge is. And the knowledge, first of all, is irradiated. In this sense, the knowledge brings light. And where this hare is, in Shambhala, in the Leo constellation, in the second fire, Tian-Kogenic nature, Tian-Chogenic nature hierarchy is where the knowledge is crystallized and becomes sephiroth. These are the sons of the fiery foam, bringing light, bringing knowledge. Madame Blavatsky is born under this principle, and in this zodiac sign, definitely she knew everything because the knowledge was condensated by mind, and she was making this knowledge ready to be accepted by nature. The next hierarchy, the Buddhic hierarchy, accepting these powers as the powers of Shakti. Today, we still have to try to come from the single to the particular. And with the studies of stanza 3, Sloka 6, let's provide these study with the help of other speakers, and I'm giving the floor to the next speaker. So today is Nidana of Ether, of course, relates to Madame Blavatsky, and it's good that on the 30th of September, on this sunny day, we are coming here with such symbol, symbolizing the finished, the absolute knowledge, the Nidana, where Madame Blavatsky was born. That is how we keep systematic study of the secret doctrine and waiting for questions from you. We have the common chat, so you can write what you'd like to ask, how you'd like to address to our speakers related to the secret doctrine text and Kalachakra. Probably you'll have questions related to the general structure, and we'll be particularly happy to answer your questions at the end. And today we have members of the research group with us. Congratulations, start of the season, this beautiful day. And we're inviting our partner from South Korea, Doctor of Philosophy, Professor of the School of Arts, Professor Hwang Hwang. We are listening to you, sir, and the floor is yours.
Good afternoon, everybody. Today my speech is on about the relation between supermoon and Theosophy. This is based on the science, actually. I hope you like this. You can see the full moon, supermoon especially. We have a full moon month one time a month, but especially 3 or 4 times there are full. We call that supermoon. You can see it tonight. In the daytime we cannot see, but there is a supermoon on the sky. Actually, what effect of this to us? This is the main research today. Let me introduce about the soul. I'm explaining about this interaction with the soul theory, so-called soulology. I made this classification. This is my work, actually. The 3 distinct aspects of the soul. The first soul, sensitive soul, is the responsible for the reflex responses in non-living things like materials to environmental stimuli due to their material nature, which has been since the beginning of our universe. And the second one, the vegetative soul is responsible for autonomic functions and considered immaterial in the areas of the vegetables and animals as developed from the various mutations of the non-living things. For example, living things, animals and plants. And the third one, the reasoning soul, is the most significant one, which facilitates rationality in materials and incorporeal matters. The reasoning soul is a fundamental human attribute as developed from the various mutations of the living things, forming the basis of thought, judgment, and responsibility for one's action. This is our soul, actually, human soul. There is you can see the set diagram. In the diagram, let me think the soul. Soul is a universe. soul is for everything, everybody, not personal, not the restriction. And also the seed of a soul becomes very fast. Started very fast. The seed, even our reasoning soul is originated from the sensitive soul itself. And let me think in detail about the sensitive soul. I talked about this previously in this seminar. Actually, this theory is the general theory in electricity or engineering. It takes about 1 hour for explain about these things clearly, but just shortly I introduce. The first, there are the two coils. The first coil, second coil. In the first coil, we provide energy, V, battery. If switch on, then the current I flows clockwise. It makes magnetic field inside the rotating coil of the first coil, and it expands to the other coil, second coil. So in second coil, this magnetic field introduce another, it makes a current to the opposite direction. This is very important thing. Very curious, opposite direction, that same direction. It create against the the coming magnetic field, attacking magnetic field against creating a new magnetic field. It makes a current, we call the induced current. It also clockwise. And second coil has energy. Energy is created. This is very curious thing. This phenomena, whole phenomena, we can explain with solar logic. The attacking from the first coil and defending by the second coil. This is the typical characteristic of the soul, human soul. One body attacking the other one, the other one, defending against that, something like that. This is the vegetative soul. The example, the Charles Darwin's The Origin of the Species. This is based on the theory of use and disuse done by Lamarck. You know the Lamarck theory. Without Lamarck theory, there is no Charles Darwin's theory. The Lamarck theory is very important, more than Charles theory. The Lamarck theory bodies one and first and second. Previously, remember the first coil, second coil. In this case, the first thing is the animals, ground animals. The second one is monkey. For example, A, monkey. The ground animals attack the monkey, so monkey living on the top of the trees because of attacking. And this is kind of a repulsive interaction. Previously, I said repulsive interactions arise from attack by animals in the field. Otherwise, why attractive interaction? What is attractive? The other case, the first thing is the monkey, and the other thing is the surroundings. During the difficult harvest day, there's nothing to eat. Then monkey go down to the ground and I'm searching for some eating things, and he eating the apples or something like that. This is a very hard time. So wants to maintain his brain. So this is kind of a repulsive interaction between monkey and the surroundings. So this change of the attacking and maintaining this process, this change of the interactions and makes the creation of the energy inside the monkey brain. So the monkey's brain become larger and larger. So monkeys goes to ape B, and ape goes to human being. This is a Lamarck theory. So Lamarck theory can be explained by the soul thorology. Whole process we can introduce the soul of the monkey and the materials, the interactions between first and second, like a sensitive soul. So this vegetative soul can be explained by the, interaction theories between two things. The reasoning soul is the human soul. We are familiar with this. The first thing, second thing, in this case, very good. We can expect it by person one attack the other person, and the other person, defending that, because the first attack to the second brain has the furious inside. So he got energy inside the brain and defending, something like that. This is a very natural and, very characteristic of the human being. This is a soul nature. So I can in the screen, in various religious and philosophical traditions, the human soul is considered the spiritual essence of a person, encompassing identity, personality, and memories believed to transcend physical death. The human soul is viewed as an immaterial aspect of a living being, relating to their natural inner life and experiences, including thoughts, desires, passions, and dreams, without the control of mind, heart, will, and imaginations. In modern times, scientific understanding has led to the concept of the human soul being linked to the field essence resulting from repulsive or attractive interactions in gravity and electricity fields affecting molecular cells. Regarding the religious belief in the afterlife, the soul's fate is determined after the body's death. The righteous and the sin-free are believed to enter paradise, heaven, while those who died with unrepented mortal sin are said to face punishment in a dungeon-like setting. I made this statement. I hope you like this. This is the regional soul is very related to our religions. I don't speak much about that because of religion. So this is let me say one more time, the interaction between one body and another body, This is the whole process make a change of the energy inside the brain, and it creates something inside the brain. This is the whole process is dominate the soul by the soul. Next screen, please. I'm going to tell about the beginnings of the three soul. The first, beginning of the sensitive soul, I said previously about that a lot. At the current time, 13.8 billion years later from the Big Bang, the outer shell indicates the expansion of our world soul of the universe. So this sensitive soul, based on the materials in Big Bang, overwhelming whole nature and the whole universe is under spreading at this moment to the outward. I don't know the size. Also, this is the oldest one, about 13.8 billion years. Also, this one, sensitive soul is participated in creation of the vegetative soul and regional soul as well. The change of energy, Big Bang explosion, it makes the creation of the something, our brain, whatever. And next, the beginning of the vegetative soul. I told about this previously. Let me say quickly. At Big Bang time, t equals 0, there was a Big Bang, and after 4.6 billion years, the solar system appeared. And then after 9.2 billion years, many manipulated chemicals appeared, something like oxygen and carbon dioxide. And after 10.3 billion years, the first life appeared. The first life we call the stomatolite. It is shown in the Australia. The first life, based by the manipulation of the atoms, molecules, and today it becomes, the animal, plants, and animals nowadays on Earth, we have sensitive souls, vegetative souls, and reasoning souls of the human beings. This is the beginning of the reasoning soul. This is very difficult. Any religion never touch about this. They like to speaking about the souls, but they don't say about the origin of souls. They don't know about the origin of souls. They don't know the meaning of the souls. But I found this stanza 3, Sloka 7, very good explanation about the soul. I like this statement, today's statement. It tells, everybody, I know you read already about this. The key point on this statement is the seed of the human soul. There is a key explanation about the origin of the souls. So not physical soul. Physical is nothing about the physical cells, molecules. This one tells about the origin of a soul nature. I hope you read again and you found something, the origin of the souls. I've never seen this kind of things other place. This is today this statement gives good things to me. I hope you read again, please. And today's main title, the relation between the supermoon and the sensitive soul. interaction of a human soul and sensitive soul from gravity of the moon is peak for supermoon and minimum for dwarf moon, smallest moon. Let me tell about this diagram. The Earth, there is one person, human on Earth, and the moon rotates Earth one time 24 hours a day, and the orbit of moon is actually not circle. The actual orbit is elliptical. It has elliptical orbits. It close, very close, closest point and farthest point one day actually twice, because of elliptical orbit. The distance between moon and the Earth, the closest, we call the supermoon. The distance is about the RS 350,000 kilometers, and dwarf moon orbit distance is RD is 400,000 kilometers, and the average is about 375,000 kilometers. Assume 8 hours for sleeping. So for sleeping time, 8 hours, there's one supermoon and one dwarf moon average. And in the daytime, they also happens, but we cannot see it because of sunshine. So what is the result? What is the result? Just think about it. One day, full moon approaching us, it becomes full moon, supermoon, and it's retreating, get back to the farthest point, dwarf moon. This happens during a night. The result, repulsive interaction happens when moon approaches to the Earth, and attractive interaction happens when the moon retreats from the Earth. Both of repulsive interaction and attractive interaction cause total 30% loss of sleeping time for humans. This is reported in the research paper, Current Biology, Switzerland, 2013. You can find in internet, you can find the research paper. What is the loss of sleeping? 30%. It makes a disorder in humans confusion. Previous I said one object, the other object interaction, then second one has the creation of energy inside the brain. Remember that? The first one is the moon, is matter. The human brain, they interact and cause a human disorder inside the brain. So in this case, angry fears or, whatever, no sleeping, even 30 minutes during the daytime, not, come on. People change something inside the brain. This is that's very curious. Body interacts, causes a disorder human, very far. But this is proved in the research paper. We can find that. I hope you get some idea about the supermoon today. There is one question. Is the human soul increased if human life is extended by the medical instruments? I'll say about this second seminar. I'll have a seminar December. Thank you very much.
Господин Хванг, огромное спасибо, что вы познакомились.
Huang, thank you so much for letting us know about your theory of the cycle, and in details you talked about this movement. Your ideas were very interesting, and the question is whether the soul can expand when the human life extends. We would like to know. I also noticed that when we are talking about cycles, this sloka of the Book of Dhyan and other slokas, subsequent ones, the first and the second stanza, Helena Blavatsky gives two directions of cycles, the sun direction and the moon direction, repulsive and attracting, the ones that have the properties of a magnet, and distracting ones. So in your schemes, we could see it.
Yes, right. Yeah.
We could see that mathematically and geometrically, you explained this idea of attraction, of creation and destruction. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Mr. Juan, you actually received a few questions. You have received a few questions by our participants, so please stay with us, and at the end of our session, we will discuss them if you don't mind.
Okay. All right.
Thank you. Many thanks to you.
Thank you. Yeah.
Дорогие друзья, я
Dear friends, I invite our partner from India, Mr. Kishori Ongoli, the representative of the Theosophical Society of India from Guntur, Ankara Pradesh, India. We will be glad if you present your studies on stanza 3, sloka 7. We're listening to you with great attention. Thank you for joining us.
Today we are discussing about 7th sloka, 3rd stanza. The stanza itself is mystic, very wonderful. So we will read the entire stanza. Behold, O Lanoo, the radiant child of the two, the unparalleled, refulgent glory, bright space, son of dark space, who emerges from the depths of the great dark waters. It is Oeaohoo the Younger, the whom thou knowest now as Quan Shai In. He shines forth as the sun. He is the blazing divine dragon of wisdom. The Eka is Chatur. That is, Chatur is 4. And Chatur takes to itself 3. And the union produces the Sapta. Sapta is 7. In whom are the 7 which become the Tridasa. Tridasa is 30. 3 into 10. These are Sanskrit words. The hosts and the multitudes behold him lifting the veil and unfurling it from east and west. He shuts out the above and leaves the below to be seen as the great illusion. He marks the place for the shining ones that are stars and turns the upper space into a shoreless sea of fire, and the one manifested into the great waters. The sloka itself is mantric, and it has got a wonderful greatest secrets. Here we will know some of the important words used in the sloka. Lanoo. Lanoo is a student. A chela from studies who studies practical esotericism. There are 4 words: exotericism, esotericism, mysticism, and occultism. Lanoo is a chela who studies practical esotericism. The great dark waters is Mula Prakriti, or primordial substance, or chaos. Oeaohoo is the 7-syllabled mystic word, as Blavatsky told, is the son of the sun. Son of the sun. Quan Shai In. Quan Shai In is identical with and an equivalent of Sanskrit Avalokiteshvara, and as such he is an androgynous deity, the male and female. There is the two forces are there in any body, the male and female, androgynous. The yin and yang, we say it is Ardhanarishwara. The half part is male, half part is female. We all having the same characters. We have to explore our body. Eka is 1, Chatur is 4, Sapta is 7, Tridasa is 3 times 10. This here, Madam Blavatsky in her footnote has mentioned 33. 33 as per Hinduism are 8 Vasus, 12 Adityas, 11 Rudras, and 2 Ashwins. The 8 Vasus are governed in 8 sides of the universe. 12 Adityas, as you know, moon has 16 phases. Likewise, every day, the sun will move in 12 phases. That each phase is called one Aditya. Each phase has got one name. And the 11 Rudras. Rudra, we can interpret as the consciousness in the atom. The consciousness in the atom is ruled by a Rudra. He is everywhere. All the 8 sides, top, down, and the middle. This becomes 11 sides. That is 11 Rudras. And the 2 Ashwins are, they are like birds. They are on the tree, and they are the hosts of Ayurveda, and they are the timekeepers. The 2 Ashwins are timekeepers. So here one more word, that is multitudes. Multitudes in today's language, it is multiverses. Now we are seeing so many concepts of multiverses. The beauty of the words itself are very explanation given by the in the secret doctrine is wonderful and very much interesting. Bright space, son of dark space, corresponds to the ray dropped at the first thrill of the new dawn into the great cosmic depths, from which it reemerges differentiated as Oeaohoo the Younger to become. See, the bright space, son of dark space. In the initial time, the great breath breaks the universe, which is in egg shape, Hiranyagarbha, egg shape. And then it gives the new creation. That is how here the explanation is being given. Initially, he is the blazing son of the incorporeal man who contains in himself the divine idea, the generator of light and life, to use an expression of Judas. And then 7 creative hosts, it is also called Sephiroth. In Kabbalah system, Sephiroth shows as 10, but here 7 hosts, it is mentioned as 7 hosts. The Eka becomes a Chatur, the Chatur becomes a 7. It is, we can say that the sun rays are 7 in colors. So initially at the time of the creation, the 1 becomes a 7, and the 7 starts the creation, the building. So Kwansha Yin is initially, as in Christianity, they would say Adam and Eve. Here we can understand the first energy is male and female, androgynous deity. From there, this Eka becomes a Chatur, 4, and then 3, and then 7, and then 33. And these 33, which Madam Blavatsky mentioned, are 33 in our own body. That is in our vertebral column. There are 33 bones in our vertebral column. We can understand it as above, so below. 12 Adityas, these 33 deities are ruling, are the energies that are keeping the cosmic universe in a balanced place. And your 33, your vertebral column, your backbone, is keeping you in steady. That is how we can interpret the word 33 and the androgynous deity. The dragon of the wisdom is the one, Eka or Saka. It is curious that Jehovah, in the Jehovah name also you can see 3-1. His name is, each word say the rabbins, as per their Jews and in Kabbalah theory, the Jehovah is they consider Jehovah is the Parabrahman. And this Parabrahman, this Jehovah directs Moses to find the Christ. Here the serpent or dragon that attempted Eve, and the dragon is an old glyph for astral light, which is the wisdom of chaos. So serpent or dragon. In Hinduism, we say serpent. According to Buddhism, they say dragon. The serpent, as you see in our body, like Kundalini, is also the basis of the logoi, the Vishnu, what they call Vishnu. He sleeps on a big serpent, Ananta Sesha. That is also mentioned. Next slide, please. That is also mentioned in this sloka in the explanation. In the beginning, before mother became father, mother, the fiery dragon moved in the infinitudes alone. Here, the book of Sarparagni. Sarparagni is the goddess of snakes. The goddess of the snakes. They say that beneath the earth, there are 7 lokas. And one loka is governed by Nagas. The king of their Nagas are called Sarparagni. And the Ananta, the Hindu serpent Sesha or Ananta, the infinite, a name of Vishnu, whose first Vahan or vehicle on the primordial waters is the serpent. It is explained that the Vishnu or the Logoi, or whatever you call first Logoi, second Logoi, or third Logoi, is sleeping on a big serpent on waters. And from there, he is the ruling all the universe. Before that, we told that, we expressed that the consciousness or the movement in the atom is Rudra. Vishnu is the reason for the existence of energy in the atom. Shiva causes the movement in the atom. Vishnu is the ruler. He is the ruler of the energy in the atom. And he is sleeping on the Ananta Sesha. It's a big snake, big snake. It was shown like that. It has a wonderful symbolic meaning. It is not that Vishnu is actually sleeping on the big serpent. It has got its a spiritual meaning. That is what here the father, mother, be wise as serpents, he says. In the beginning, before mother became father, mother, the fiery dragon moved in the infinitudes alone. The light is me, I am the nous, the mind or Manu, I am thy God, and I am far older than the human principles which escapes from the shadow. All that thus sees and hears is thee in the verbum of the master. It is the thought which is God. Mahat. Mahat is a plane. Physical, astral, mental. We can say next plane is Mahat, what we call Buddhic or Atmic, whatever. Mahar Loka. It is a plane. It is a Loka from where there is no form. And that can be our father. That can be our God. Here we find the unmistakable echo of the archaic secret doctrine as now expounded. Only the latter does not place at the head and the evolution of life the Father who comes third and is the Son of the Mother, but the eternal and ceaseless breath of the all. Initially, the Father comes and the Mother comes and the Son of the Mother. That was explained in Christianity, Father, Son, and the Holy Ghost. Here it was explained that Avalokiteswara or Vishnu, and then the androgynous deity, Quan Shi Yin, and the Sapta, and seven sons were born, and these 7 sons rule the universe. Mahat develops into the feeling of self-consciousness, then it assumes the name of egoism. Mahat is transformed into the human manas, or even that of the finite gods, and becomes ahamship. Why it is called the Mahat of the second creation or the 9th, that of the Kumara in Vishnu Purana, will be explained in book 2. Mahat or human manas, we can explain it as mind. And in mind, there are 4 varieties of characters: Manas, Buddhi, Chitta, Ahankara. Manas, intellect. Chitta, there is no parallel word in any language. And Ahankara, the ego. Manas, our thoughts revolve around these 4 things. Mind is a library of thoughts. Buddhi is intellect, which picks the right thought. Chitta is a place that is where you have the past life impressions. And the ego is I, the causal plane. The causal plane. Ego is the causal plane, and it is in link with your causal, the reason, the cause for your birth in this life. I, ego. If you are not there, if you remove your ego, you will merge into the Mahat plane, the supreme soul. Ego is the bridge between mind and the supreme soul. That is how we can understand. Egoism, if you remove the egoism, ego, you will become divine. Ahamship. If the student bears in mind that there is but one universal element which is infinite, unborn and undying, and that all the rest, as in the world phenomena, are but so many various differentiated aspects of that one, from cosmical down to microcosmical effects, from superhuman down to human and subhuman beings, the totality, in short, of objective existence, then the first and chief difficulty will appear and occult cosmology may be mastered. So here, the entire gist is given to the student, Lanoo. What is the goal of his life? What he should do it life? This para is the most important paragraph of this sloka. We have to read this paragraph 100 times to understand the depth of what is your life, what is your goal for taking this birth, what is the cause, why you got physical body, why you are having astral body, why you are having causal body. The microcosmical, the microcosm is your body, the macrocosm is the universe. How you link up with the macro and micro? The entire secret is given that first and chief difficulty will disappear and occult cosmology may be mastered. If you understand one solar system, you will understand the entire cosmos. COS, MOS is the cosmos of our solar system. KOS, MOS is the cosmos of the entire universe. Everything will be the same pattern, as I understand it. Maybe that is how I can I can explain to that. All the Kabbalists here, Madam Blavatsky in The Secret Doctrine have mentions many times about the Kabbalah, the Hinduism, the Buddhism, the Rosicrucian Christianity, the literal, the people who have taken life in a seriousness, the identity of the father, mother with the primary ether or akasha, astral light. So what is astral light? It is a membrane, we can say it's a membrane which records everything that you are doing. His constability before the evolution of the sun, cosmically fohad, for this is cosmic electricity. What is cosmic electricity? What is fohad? It is our duty to know. Fohad, as we call, is the first person who created the universe. He runs into strides. He creates the fiery wind. That's how it's explained. The cosmic electricity is nothing but the kundalini in your body. The cosmic electricity is the kundalini in the body, and then the universe. Thus was the world formed. Thou shalt separate the earth from the fire and subtle from the solid, that which ascends from earth to heaven and descends. The subtle light is a strong force of every force, and it conquers every subtle thing and penetrates into every solid. Thus was the world formed. Here, the world, how the world is formed, here it is explained. Universe evolves, even the universe evolves. When its primary systems is transformed into the state of fire. So fire, air, water, 5 elements are the most important things in our life. The intelligence that moves the universe is fire, and fire is the intelligence. Fire is the consciousness in our body. Fire, we have to understand, if you don't have fire in your body, you are dead. You are just like a normal human being. The sadhana you do, the research you do, the service you do, it creates fire in your body. Thank you so much. This is how I try to explain this sloka to you. Maybe we have to understand.
Господин Кишори, спасибо большое.
Thank you so much.
Да, большое спасибо.
Thank you so much, Mr. Kishori. You made us look through the text of the sloka of the Book of Dhyan. And you know, when our seminars take place and in our studies, we point out certain moments, certain ideas that can lead us to something new, to new discoveries. We discover new symbolism, and we understand that the secret doctrine has many symbolical notions, and the symbols are the signs. They are not written. They are to be discovered by everyone. And when new discoveries are made, they are understood by everyone. You know, there is such a thing as the God's words are understandable to everyone, and everyone knows them. So the symbol is the speech of God, and the stanzas of the Book of Dhyan. Why cannot we understand them using our intellect? Many people say that it's hard labor to fully understand it. Our thinking process cannot understand what the word God is. It is living, it's moving. And when a symbol is discovered, a symbol can be understood by everyone. So there are different numerical characteristics that we could try to interpret. They are given in the dictionaries and they were interpreted by Helena Blavatsky. If we apply them to a human body, so that they are not just separated notions from a human, so Mr. Juan is always trying to prove in his speech that they are applicable to a human. He always mentions the word human, and this is one of the practices in methodology that has a certain potential. So we have prepared a presentation for you. Let us discuss this stanza once again, and this mystery of the process of observing, how this process can lead us to new discoveries. And if it happens, if new discoveries are made, then we will come to a single understanding.
So, Stanza 3, Sloka 7. Behold, Oeaohoo, the radiant child of the two, the unparalleled refulgent glory, bright space, son of dark space, which emerges from the depth of a great dark waters. It's Oeaohoo the Younger. He shines forth as the sun, and he's the blazing divine dragon of wisdom. He one of four, and four takes to itself three, and the union produces the Sapta, in whom there are seven, which become the Tridasa. Tridasa, the hosts of the multitudes, behold him lifting the veil and unfurling it from east to west. He shuts out the above and leaves the below, to be seen as the great illusion. He marks the places for the shining ones, and turns the upper into the shoreless sea of fire, and the one manifested into the great waters. Let's try our normal schematic and systematic approach. Let's take it to present the whole system given in the Sloka today. Behold, Oeaohoo, the radiant child of the two, the unparalleled refulgent glory, bright space, son of dark space, which emerges from the depth of great dark waters. The radiant child is something that has just been born and has no development in the very germ, the child or a beginning. Radiant is the ray at the dawn of Manvantara. The two, who are the two? These are father and mother, their bodies of fire and water. Two spaces of light and darkness. What is born in this union? The unparalleled refulgent glory. What is that? This is something. There is nothing to be compared with. There is nothing to compare it with, since the first reflection of absolute light filled the entire space in that period. The space of light was born from the dark space, from the dark waters. What is the son of the dark space? It's that Manvantara began, and the son of the dark space at the dawn of Manvantara shines as the sun. He shines as the sun. He is the one who is the divine dragon. So at the dawn of Manvantara, the dark space is manifested through the light. And this
сын пространства тьмы.
one.
Но что значит младший Oeaohoo? И что является?
Why is he the younger one? And who is the older then? We can directly answer, since if we take all the notions given by HPB in the commentary to the schemes of the planes of being, we understand all the trajectory of movement and where are the periods mentioned. Oeaohoo the Younger is differentiated. He is the reflection, or the shadow of Oeaohoo the Older, who cannot differentiate. Why cannot he? Why? That is due to his absolute value. According to the scheme, we see the seven-ray star in the first plane. It cannot differentiate. What can differentiate or distribute or have many shapes is only Oeaohoo the Younger, and only he can differentiate. we can touch upon what HPB describes. The son of dark space corresponds to the ray dropped as the first tremor of the new dawn into the great cosmic depth, from where it is differentiated as Oeaohoo the Younger, in order to be the embryo, the germ of all things until the end of the cycle of life. The one who gave life, the beginning, to this germ is the function of Oeaohoo the Younger. What is it in human being? It's the disembodied man containing divine thought, the originator of light and life. He is called the blazing divine dragon of wisdom, because firstly, he is what the Greek philosophers call the logos, the verb of divine thought. And secondly, because an esoteric philosophy is a primary manifestation, being the synthesis and totality of universal wisdom. We can say that there is a person containing the divine thought, and the divine thought is revealed in three logoi. That is what this very verb of synthesis is. It's related to the divine wisdom, who is Oeaohoo, the son of the sun, contains the seven creative hosts, Sephiroth, and that is the essence of manifested wisdom. In the totality, we can say that the son of the sun, or Oeaohoo, who already has the seven rays, is the divine thought in the bodiless human, who provides all forms of life in all incarnations. He who bathes in the light of Oeaohoo will never be seduced by the veil of Maya. The key point is, in order to be in the bath in the light of Oeaohoo, you need to have an identical structure, identical to this light. The person should get this body, identical to this body of light, Oeaohoo, and therefore the person will bath. He should become crystal clear, and there will be a connection with a single light, the sun, the soul logos, who is devoid of the veils of Maya. Oeaohoo, as is provided as Father, Mother of the gods, or 6 in 1 of the sevenfold root from which everything comes. Everything depends on how you pronounce this word. So there are the 7 vocals. And when I was contemplating on this stanza, we can make Oeaohoo with sounds, with parts of words, and the 7th Sloka contains the inner notion of Oeaohoo. It shows the step of the God. 6 in 1 is the step of the God, the step of the universe. Indeed, in this sloka, we reveal what it is and how the God can make steps or reveal itself. It can reveal itself. What are the steps as 1, as 3, or even the 7 syllables? If we also add the English E after the last O, that is how we symbolically can make differentiate this mystical Oeaohoo. If we provide it as the threefold pronunciation, then it doesn't work like that. Why? Because Elena Blavatsky writes that with this threefold pronunciation we make one step and we cannot move further to the 7. The Father, Mother of the gods, our first step is 1, the germ or the symbol of the point, the thought, then 6 in 1, when the trajectory can already reflect on this plane when it changed. since the start of Manvantara, there are 6 in 1. And then the root, the sevenfold root from where everything emerges. And that is the state right now, when it merges into 1. 1, 3, 6, and 7 into 1 is where the sun shines. And we can achieve the dragon of wisdom in this state. He is the sunny logos, and he's a single manifestation, the crystal clearness, or the basis for phosphorus matter, different matter, and the plane for coagulation of the solidified light. It's interesting to note that the state of matter where Oeaohoo can make steps of God can manifest itself as 1, 3, and 7. The main steps of the divine teaching is the sunny logos, and the basis of phosphoric matter that will further the same way to form the human body. If we say that in this phosphoric matter, it's the phosphoric matter is the divine immunity of the universe. It's the basis of creative potential, and that is how we see creative people look good. They have this capacity, even not capacity, but the feature to regenerate themselves after destructions in one moment. The faster it is to regenerate for a person to restore himself or herself, the faster is the coagulation in this plane, no matter phosphoric one. We see this crystal clearliness of the plane where the coagulation takes place. What is coagulation? It's solidification. And what is the feature of this coagulation? A characteristic, the property, along with the relatively low strength, is the reversibility to mechanical influences, the ability to spontaneous recovery after mechanical damage. And this structure regenerates itself spontaneously. That is why it's the immunity. And when we achieve this, we will be immune to all chaotic influences. We've already watched these coagulation features, spontaneous recovery after mechanical damage. And that is the thought I'd like to bring to you today. What does it mean in the evolution period, the beginning of differentiation? It means the victory of light over darkness in all periods of Manvantara. Actually, the victory of light over darkness in energy features, in features that coagulation has, dissemination, transformation, correlation of light in all periods of Manvantara is the basis of victory of light over darkness. That is the law of cosmic will. The key point is the spontaneous restoration of light after any destruction, since it's possible to destroy only the physical or dense plane that exists, and what does not exist cannot be destroyed. So the light did not exist. It was filling in the space, and it was impossible to compare it to anything in that period, and it's impossible to destroy it. That is how the light does not act if there is no structure. It's the single one, cannot be divided. Knowledge of causes. We see that the knowledge of causes is the knowledge of spontaneous recovery of light after destruction. if it takes place in one moment and took place in that period at the very beginning, at the dawn of Manvantara, and it's possible everywhere as the basis, as the tool to be used in the whole Manvantara period. The key point. What is the knowledge of causes? It's the embracing of the three worlds that occurs when the knowledge of the threefold root of everything is comprehended. That is, knowledge of the threefold root. Non-separation or unity is accepted, and that is how the universe gets healthy, our planet gets healthy, and the human being gets healthy, depending directly on accepting of the embracing of the three worlds. HPB confirms further that until the old man is defeated, it is impossible to receive the secret knowledge of wisdom from the dragon of wisdom, and only an arhat can defeat the astral serpent. That's why few people join and receive divine wisdom. That is we have the body, the form that can be destroyed, and what cannot be destroyed is the wisdom, we can say, or the future. The step of the god is non-destructible. It's impossible to destroy, and it's actually the future. Nagarjuna actually defeated the lowest earthly serpent, and in her heart received the secret knowledge of divine wisdom from the fiery dragon. Nagarjuna was allowed to make steps as the god. He possessed this knowledge of the threefold root, accepted the single character of the being, the non-dividable state of being. Restrain the lower self with the divine self. Restrain the divine with the eternal. Truly great is he who conquered the desire. Know that the stream of superhuman knowledge and the wisdom of the devas conquered by you must flow through you who became the guide of a liar into another bed. Know, O Najol, illustrious Sadep, the saint one, the secret way, with its pure and refreshing waters. You must quench the bitterness of the heaving ocean, that mighty sea of sorrow formed by human tears. I believe that not all arhats receive the sweet reward of the path of nirvana. Aum! Nagarjuna, the founder of Madhyamika school, was called the dragon tree because the dragon is the symbol of wisdom and knowledge. He is the blazing divine dragon of wisdom, the fiery spiritual knowledge of wisdom. It corresponds to the absolute divine mind. The reasonable root cause of the world is the sound Aum, the first sound of the non-pronounceable name that is never pronounced because it will be destroyed when pronounced. This name becomes manifested this way. Aum is the sound of eternal time, and when it's pronounced, time gets its end. The step of universe is the step of time without end. Let's see how HPB manifested it and structured it. In Zen stanzas, she writes, Eka is Chatur, Chatur and 4 takes itself 3, and the union produces the Sapta, in whom the 7, which become the Tridasa, and the hosts and the multitudes. What is it? What Mr. Kishore mentioned? Probably it's a well-known trajectory, and we can get to it. Eka is 1, or logos. It takes chatur, or 4, gets logos in 4 aspects, the 3 rays and 1 point in the center. These 4 aspects is where he takes 3 logoi. We are looking at the light coagulation. The key points are revealed here. The three manifested, the first logos in four aspects, and their union gives birth to seven logoi, or seven ways to give birth to the unmanifested sound. The seven ways to get to the steps of God, to endless time. The seven logoi they are. Let's look at the plane of being. Eka takes chatur of four logos in four aspects. Differentiation is how it gets prepared. In four aspects, it takes three logoi for itself. The three manifested ones is the logos in four aspects, and their union gives birth to seven logos. You can see the seven-ray star, the seven logoi, and the seven other three planes of being, and the seven logoi. They connect in themselves. That is the way to reveal it in Dhyan. Further, they become three according to the planes of being. He is the blazing divine dragon of wisdom. He shuts out the above and leaves the below to be seen as the great illusion. Here is the spirit of planes of spirit beyond forms. He reveals it. And he keeps them below the matter, HPB writes. It makes fire or spirit similar to below or waters, transforms into waters, and it is the great transformation of the upper into the below. That is how we transcend from above to below. In esotericism, there are two logoi. Two Avalokiteshvara is the first and the second logos, the first unmanifested logos, the second manifested logos, and the triangle of quadrilateral. Here is the sevenfold matter that can be revealed to us. The first one is the full triangle, complete triangle. We have 10. How are they manifested? The 4 points, the 3 rays connecting, their inner connection, and the 3 outer rays. We have the complete triangle, the living triangle, having already the nerval system, other systems that can be compared to everything. 10 is the symbol of one complete triangle. The 4 points give us the triangle. Another complete triangle is how we find these 3 rays and 4 points, connect them. Here is the below where it falls. These 2 triangles are combined. In this combination, there is 10. What do we have? 3 times 10 every time. We get 30 or 3 dasha. 30 or 3 dasha is the cube, having the 3 complete triangles, 3 lives, 3 planes of being, 3 spiritual immunity, 3 nerval systems in one, and it gives the tridasha or the cube, being the basis for solid matter with further physical dense world, or the human being, which is the solidified phosphorus. 33 is the sacred number. How is it manifested? Let's see. 3 planes of spirit without matter, a triangle. In its manifestation, it brings us to 30, we've mentioned. When it's combined, we get 30 or 3 complete triangles, 3 multiplied by 10, and in total it's 33. This this transfer is 33. It's fire. It's the way to conquer darkness in Manvantara. That is the law. 12 Adityas 8 Vasu, 11 Rudras, and 2 Ashwins. Let's see how it reveals what does it mean 12. When we combine the two triangles, there are the 12 sectors, combinations. It starts shining. What does it mean? 8 Vasus, the two foundations of our Tridasa cubes combined, the spiritual and the material ones. 8 Vasus are holding the volume. 8 Vasus are holding the basis of the phosphoric matter. And then 11 Rudras come. What does it mean, 11 Rudras? The 4 planes, lower planes, differentiated planes, the plane of prototypes, the plane of mind and creativity, the plane of matter and formate, the physical plane, that's their world. The world of 11 Rudras is where we live right now, where we get 33, the sacred number. Out of 12 Adityas, the 8 Vasus, 11 Rudras, what is important, and 2 Ashwinas, we get 33. We have only one ray. He is the ray, the whole universe. It's called OE. OE is the ray. So, I see it coming from the dawn, and behold him lifting the veil and unfurling it from east to west. The basis is Oeaohoo the Younger one, the new life emerging, so that it can be the germ of creation until the end of the cycle of life. It contains the divine thought, the originator of life and light, the logos, the verb of divine thought, the synthesis and totality of universal wisdom, or the future. The human being is the future, revealing after the victory of material nature of the person. If Guanyin Tian, Guanyin also gets into the female logos. The female logos is the mother of mercy, Hut, and Guanxin, or the male logos, the manifested goddess androgynous deity. So the Purusha and Prakriti are the two deities, androgynous nature and tetragrammaton. We have two Avalokiteshvaras, the first and the second logoi. And if Avalokiteshvara is the observing deity, observing lord or Padmani, the bearer of lotus and lotus born, the whole third stanza forms the observing self. What is Padmani is the higher ego or manas. It's when the person can observe everything what is there without interacting with it, without getting part of it. And that is the mystery. The dragon of wisdom is the one, Eka Oeaohoo, the first unmanifested and the second manifested logos, the triangle concretized into quadrangle and tetragrammaton, and the rays of the latter are there on the material plane. The light is self. Self is the voice, mind or Manu. I am the God. I am the germ of thought. That is the thought of Mahat, the father of prana, the ether. The father mothers there cannot be divided. Mahat, or the mind of the future universe. What is the Mahat? Mahat is the knowledge, and before being Brahma or Shiva, it's manifested as Vishnu. Mahat is the Lord of the primary creation, the universal knowledge, the divine thought. Mahat was born the first and is called egoism when it's born as self-feeling I, self. You cannot see where the high ego or self nature is manifested. When it becomes self, it's creation. We can see at Kalachakra how it happens. The ninth creation, the ninth symbol, the blue boar, the symbol of understanding this world of self-consciousness. The first divine sector of these is the second creation. There is the eternal Oeaohoo. That is the universal mediator. The Ood is pure light, giving life to magnetic fluid, always messenger of death, and ours the synthesis of both the astral light. And let's see how Oeaohoo is active and passive, positive and negative, like night and day, primary light and creation, electricity and life. He is the mediator, the messenger of death and the astral light. Oeaohoo. Fahad is the hissing serpent. Its death is in Jewish, the ninth letter of the Jewish alphabet. And the ninth door of 50 gates, as HPB writes. What does it mean? It's the blue boar, or the manifested consciousness. The 50 gates is the 50 nidanas, the red dragon. The red dragon is wisdom. What we see in today's Sloka, at the opposite, is Adi-Shakti, the red dog. And the ninth gate gives the power to possess Shakti, to master the forces of Shakti. Today we'll see how the ninth gate opens the door and the 50 gates open the capacity to possess these powers. Gunya of the space is inside, and there is no above or below in the space, and in infinity the levels follow one another, becoming more and more dense. The great waters and darkness are one and the same. The darkness is unknowable absolute, which is the source of first of radiation and also caused the first logos, then its reflection, the dawn of the second logos, and finally Brahman manifested the light in the third logos. Everything contains electricity, everything from the single primordial universal light. There it comes, and electricity is the cause of molecular motion and the physical plane. It's one of the principles of matter arising of every imbalance of the universe. Electricity becomes a karmic element of the object, the very object in which the violation took place. What does it resemble? The very thought that we were developing at the very beginning about this light, the astral light, and its ability to regenerate itself spontaneously. The key point, therefore, is that Fahad is the primary force, the cause of this force manifested in millions of aspects of all cosmic electricity existing in the universe can be called essence. The key point, what it is. Third stanza, seventh sloka, 3 plus 7 makes 10. 10 is movement to diameter in a circle, the form of 9. And the 9 is the essence of Fahad, or the sun. Therefore, right now, we have the formula of the step of the God, the step of the universe, or the mind guiding the universe, what is the primary one. And as soon as the ocean became the radiant light, the child of the form of ray chain appeared with the inner essence 9 and manifested 3 and manifested 7, which corresponds to Sloka 7, stanza 3. Altogether, it's 9 in 1, it's 19. The conclusion is, as soon as spiritual immunity was created and the nervous system of the universe began to be formed, the interchange of cells, colors, light, transfiguration, transformation, and multiplicity, the entire organism of the universe was completed. That was the bit of forma connecting all the potential energy in one. What do we have? 10 HPB saying that, and that is it. He shuts the above and leaves the below to be seen as the great illusion. He marks the places of the shining ones and terms the apparent as shoreless sea of fire, and the one manifested in the great waters. He makes fire and water, father and mother, darkness and light, the body of fire and water great, and create the immunity. That is how there is difference, how he makes great father and mother, water and fire. It is he who HPB is saying above. In this stanza, behold him from east to west. Behold him lifting the veil from east to west. The form unfolded the greatness that is the vertical light, and its full movement of 10 prompted the horizontal line to reveal itself fully in the greatness equal to the vertical slide. How it became possible for it to be revealed in its full greatness when it becomes equal, and there appeared hosts and multitudes of conductors of single unparalleled refulgent glory, the bright space that can make steps and create worlds, who've kept the essence of the step of the God, the sevenfold one, Sloka 3, stanza 3, Sloka 7, that is. That is how the universe makes steps, and the cosmic step is the step of the God.
Thank you to all of you. I think we have exceeded our time because our speakers had much to say. I don't think it's a big problem, so we can have a briefing section. Today we're going to extend our discussion into some endless time period, and now we can understand the cause of the recovery after mechanical destruction. It was mentioned throughout the seminar. Some of them recovered themselves and the others changed their bodies. So dear friends, we have several questions to discuss. Questions to the participants of our research group, and I would like to ask these questions. Question to Professor Kalganov from Moscow, Russia. Sergei Vitalyevich, can you hear us? It's a question to you. Is there any correspondence between the processes described in the Sloka and in the processes inside a human? Thank you so much for your question. So what I have to say right now, it's quite difficult to develop such a comparison of the processes, macrocosmic and microcosmic processes. I believe these are associated with the process of cognition when a person learns about or touches upon the divine. So that's my answer.
What could be the correspondence? When the person can step with God's steps, can move on with God's steps. And the person then can create this substance to be able to step along the God. Next question to Kishore Angole. What characteristics have the space in its uncomparable beauty and glory?
Space is sky, from where everything comes, from where the matter comes, from where the entire cosmos comes. The characteristics of sky is fluidic, fluid. It's like fluid. After some particular time, there will not be any air. We can't say it is air. We can't say it is earth. We can't say it is light, or it is, we can't say. It is fluidic. And from that fluidic, the thoughts reside in the sky. The ideas reside in the sky. The creation, the thought before the creation resides in the sky. The characteristics of sky are, to be frank, unexplainable. It cannot be explained. But everything comes from the sky. So the idea of differentiation, according to the idea of differentiation, the entire things are there in the sky in unmanifested form. After manifestation, it becomes
Господин Кишори, очень кратко.
We've got your reply, but I would like to say just one phrase. If the space, uncomparable, is in blazing glory, it can't have any characteristics at all. If it's so great and uncomparable, if we apply any characteristics that diminishes its glory, its being uncomparable.
Mr. Juan, could you please tell, as you were mentioning the soul and its dimensions, what is the size of soul? The question is from the very beginning.
Our system of universe is not closed. It is open. The soul flows in and flows out in the system. There's a key point. The Kudamastarta said about the skandhas, remember? 5 skandhas. This is the nature of a soul. He explained about nature of the soul, but the size, he never mentioned about size. But the size, if we think about size, that must be closed to be, measured. But our universe is not closed. It is open. So we will never mention about size. Thank you.
Огромное спасибо. Я думаю, что...
Thank you so much. I think this answer is really satisfactory for the one who asked. The next question is when the student becomes the teacher, to Mr. Vladimir Yary. In the moment when the student becomes the teacher, it's the moment that takes place when the student has the need to be asked questions. When it happens, by answering, he becomes teacher. I actually thought that being in this material of the secret doctrine, when the student becomes the teacher, it's when the vertical line becomes horizontal, equal to horizontal line, when the student becomes equal to teacher, becomes student, the teacher becomes student, and that is this great cross connection.
The next question, Oeaohoo shines like the sun, but what is the difference between them? Oeaohoo the Younger shines forth as the sun. What's the difference between them, and how can you comment on it? So this is the nature of electricity. As the nature of electricity is formed, then it becomes shining forth as the sun gives heat, and the electricity gives the lively fluid that will subsequently blossom, and this light of the germ forms a new world, and so on. So there is a very interesting hypothetical question. We are going to cover 2 more questions, and I would like to give the floor to our guests. We would like to hear your opinion on the seminar as well. So the question is there any connection between the blazing dragon of wisdom and the bird of phoenix? So there is a connection, and there is one connection. When a person reaches the bottom and accepts his ignorance, then starting from this moment, it reappears as a phoenix. And basically speaking, it assumes the cognition ability, and this cognition ability lets him answer the very basic questions, the questions of the nature of the human. So he becomes he starts to analyze and to know himself. So speaking of the stances, this correlation was described in the part of the structure of the universe. So the phoenix reappears, it destructs itself, and that it is brought to life again, while the dragon of wisdom being discussed here, it does not get distracted. It stays in its eternity. So these are our answers. And now, Dr. Srinivasana, you are with us today, Doctor of Philosophy from India. You will have 1 minute to share your opinion and your impressions. We have learned something new, and please comment on it.
So kind of you for inviting me for this seminar is extremely good. But one point I've noticed is that this sloga, not only this sloga, out of the 80 slogas in the volume 1 and 2 of the Cosmogenesis, I think, as rightly said by Mr. Kishore of Ogol, that this sloga in particular has to be read 100 times. Is indeed is not just sufficient, because no, it contains Buddhism, spiritualism, science, and integration and synthesis of all this presented by the revered, most revered Madame Blavatsky is something awesome, and it requires time to deal with it. One stroke, you will not be able to, understand everything, but then you get a point from where we can start and understand about all this Oeaohoo, and then the dark waters, the Lanoo, and other, the birds, which I am just tempted to compare with that of Vedic mantras, which I think is apt in this. There is a sloka called Mantra Pushpam. At the end of the ceremonies, the Purohits always sing that Mantra Pushpam and say that if you understand that water is everything and water is life. And this is the way that Madam has presented this very nicely. And I thank you very much for the nice opportunity given to me. Thank you.
Господин Шринивасан, мы поняли, что в основном...
Mr. Srinivasan, we realized that you are mainly constructing Sloka 7 based on the unity, and we are thankful. We are all thankful to Madame Blavatsky that can speak symbolically and comment on the aspects that were mysterious. So here, a very important point is that at the end of the sloka, Helena Blavatsky says, many philosophers also discussed it. So the blazing dragon of wisdom and space, the time born there. However, no one had a full and completed structure. So the completed structure was actually laid down and created by Kemerova School of Theosophy of Vladimir Bakanov. So we have to mention him and we are thankful to him because now we use his notions and his system very naturally. Where we got used to it, and it helps us in learning the secret doctrine, his system, and the process of cognition is made easier. So, Sergei Vitalyevich, please comment on our seminar at the end, and thank you for joining us, for sharing your ideas. So, the floor is yours. Dear colleagues, the seminar made me think about many important aspects. And Sloka that we are discussing right now, it gives us an opportunity to, well, as Blavatsky laid it down, to shape the idea of the universe. However, it can be perceived and understood individually as well. I liked all of the speeches, and especially the one by Yevgenia Mikhailovna. It was a revelation. Thank you so much. Sergei Vitalyevich, thank you. We will be waiting for you as a speaker. We're always interested in your work. So now we came to the understanding of what Sloka 7 is. It is the unity, and there are many important notions. What is it about? How is it connected to a human? So the sloka says then at the moment when we have covered the 7 stages, each stage increases the speed of transformation, and the speed is so great that these milestones, these stages are not needed anymore in this fixation, because the way becomes single. God's step is single. And this idea is brilliant to end our seminars, our seminar. The way how the 7 stages became single, the single stage of the breathing of the dragon, and the fixation process is no longer needed. So the amplification of speed and the transformation of the psychic energy gives us joy, the feeling of victory, kindness, light, and it happens just right now. And when it happens, we understood that we are all on a single way, and then there are no more doubts. Thank you so much for being with us. Thank you for our interpreters. Thank you for working. Today we were assisted by Rusinova Milena, Nesetkin Sergey, Bobko Alexandra. Thank you so much for helping us, conveying our ideas. They're so difficult. Thank you for our research group and all the participants, our listeners, our speakers. Thank you for your research and your interesting materials. Thank you, Vladimir Yare, for your new ideas. Let's stay in touch. Let's stay united in this speed of erasing the stages of our new way. It's a new era, a new day. And as the Lord said, a new day is your day. So, a happy new day. You may stay here and watch some videos inviting to the Congress. Thank you. See you later.